Okay, here's a recording for section 6.6 about a mixture of counting problems. All in chapter 6 we learned different techniques for counting these different situations that can happen. And we went over the multiplication rule. The multiplication rule, there was a key word in the problem for and. That was an indication that you're going to use the multiplication rule. So if you're going to pick, something from this set and something from this set and something from that set, for example, you would use the multiplication rule. For the addition rule, the key word you look for there is or. If you were going to choose something from this set or you're going to choose something from this set, that's when you add the choices together. For the multiplication rule, look for the word and for the addition rule, you look for the word or. For permutations, you use a permutation when the order matters or is significant. And you're also choosing from one set. So let's say there was a club, like the math club, for example, and it had 14 people in it, and they were going to choose like a president, a vice president, and a secretary. So since those 3 people, they're doing 3 different job duties, there's a distinction between those 3 people that they're choosing. That's when you would use a permutation. It'd be a permutation of 14 things taken 3 at a time. Then the combinations, here order does not matter. Alright, it doesn't matter. Let's use that math club again with the 14 members. And then let's say we're just going to choose a committee of like 5 people to plan the spring picnic. Alright, so again, we don't know what all their job duties are, but we're just going to pick a committee of 5 people. So there, the order doesn't matter. I just want to choose 5 people from the math club. So that would be a combination of 14 things taken 5 at a time. Alright, so that's the difference between permutations and combinations. And then as we go through these examples, we'll try and see the difference between permutations and combinations when you use the multiplication rule, when you use the addition rule. And all I've done for these notes, it's kind of funny, I pulled these things right out of the ebook. They're static problems at the end of the section. So anyway, I'm just going to do some of these for you. You'll see similar stuff when you go through your homework and WebAssign. But I wanted to do these for you, even though these numbers are fixed. You guys will have different numbers, obviously, but similar problems where you just have to read through each one and see what to do. Alright, so let's start with this first example. It was number 2 in the back of that section. It says, Ms. Ling has 14 boys and 17 girls in her 3rd grade class. How many ways can she select 2 boys or, let's underline that, or highlight it, or 2 girls to make a Thanksgiving poster? Alright, the 2 boys that she's going to select, there's 14 boys altogether and there's 2 of them. Now, there's no distinction between their job duties. It's just 2 boys that are going to work on the poster or the 2 girls. Since this is an or, let's put a big plus there. Alright, or is an indication that you're going to use the addition rule. So let's see how many ways that she can choose 2 boys out of 14 boys. Here, the order does not matter. Alright, it doesn't say specifically what they're going to be doing, just 2 boys to work on the poster. So that's a combination. We've got 14 boys, I'm choosing 2 of them. Combination of 14 things taken 2 at a time, plus, from the word or right there, 2 girls, alright, or 2 girls. Again, it doesn't give their job duties, it just says, okay, these 2 girls are going to work on the poster. So there's 17 girls in the class. That is a combination of 17 things taken 2 at a time. Alright, I also did another video that helps you with your calculator, like if you have a Texas Instrument. It'll show you how to put the permutations and combinations in. So I urge you to use that. Otherwise, you're doing it out the long way. So when you key it in your calculator, that's the best thing to do. You're going to get 227 for the answer. Alright, So that one here, we had to use the addition principle, and then we were adding two combinations together. Because it didn't matter. The two boys, it didn't say what they were going to do. The two girls didn't say what they were going to do. They're just working together to make a poster. Alright. That's why we use combinations. Okay, let me also highlight this because the or coincided with this addition there. Alright, let's skip down to number 6. Alright, 6 says, Dwayne goes to Golden's used books during their semi-annual sale. There's 75 books on their 50% off table and then 96 books on the 30% off table. How many ways can he select 4 books from the 50% off table and 3 books? Let's highlight the and there. Right, and means we're going to multiply. Right, so let's go ahead and put a big multiplication here. That coincides with that. So it's easy, sort of easy to start there. Figure out if it's an or and an and. You can sort of start there. And then, yeah, he's going to pick 3 books from the 30% off table. Alright. 4 books from the 50% off table, and there are 75 of those. Now these 4 books, it doesn't make a distinction between those 4 books. So again, this is a combination. How many did I have? There was 75, yeah, from the 50% off table. So it's got 75 books. We're only choosing 4 of them. Alright, and then the 3 books from the 30% off table. There's 96 books there on the 30% off table. Alright, so it's a combination. Again, no distinction between those 3 books. 96, choose 3. Again, you would key that in your calculator. This comes out to a fairly large number. It'll give it to you in scientific notation so you can round it wherever you want. About 1.74 times 10 to the 11. Pretty large. Alright, so make sure you use a calculator for a test. You can round that answer to anywhere. Just give me a couple decimal places, that's fine. Alright, times 10 to the 11th. For this one, we used combinations again because the things that we were choosing, there's no distinction between these 4 books. It didn't say one has to be red, one has to be green, one has to be a math book, and one has to be an English book. It didn't say that. It just said 4 books. Alright, same with the 3 books. Since it says and, he's going to pick 7 books total. So that's why we were multiplying there. Alright, let's scooch down to the next one. Alright, I'm in about 8 minutes. Got about 7 minutes left. We'll see how we do. I've got several examples of these. So in your homework, you'll do a bunch of different ones. Let's jump down to number 10. 10 says, you can read it, Saturday Night Jazz Band asked the music department of the community college to furnish a group of 3 trumpet players or a group of 4 saxophone players for prom weekend. Alright, or means I'm going to be adding 2 things together. 3 trumpet players or 4 saxophone players for prom. Alright, the music department has 8 trumpet players and 11 sax players. Alright, we're picking 3 trumpet players from 8. Now those 3 trumpet players, again, no distinction between the 3. Alright, so these are combinations again. Combination of what I've got 8 trumpet players total, we're picking 3 of those. Or a group of 4 saxophone players from 11 total. Alright, that's a combination of 11 things. We're choosing 4 of those. Again, best thing to do, watch that calculator help video for the combinations and the permutations. I think I stuck that in D2L. I'll have to double check that. Absolutely use it if you don't know how to use your calculator with the combinations and permutations. It can save you a lot of time. Yeah, when you key that in, this is what you're going to get, 386. Just like that. Okay, let me stop this video and then I'm going to do, I've got about 3 more examples I guess, and I'll do those in a separate video.